Video 8. Scanning pancreatic uncinate process from the stomach and duodenum. This video provided an introduction to scanning the pancreatic uncinate process from the position of stomach and the second part of the duodenum. The landmarks to look for are the mesenteric vessels, the aorta, and the inferior vena cava. The scope was inserted into the antrum and then gradually withdrawn while being rotated to identify the abdominal aorta and the superior mesenteric artery. The scope was then adjusted until the superior mesenteric artery was visualized in its longitudinal axis. The superior mesenteric vein runs parallel to the superior mesenteric artery and nearer to the transducer. Parts of the pancreatic head and uncinate process were observable around the superior mesenteric vessels. The uncinate process appeared as a finely reticulated and homogeneous structure between the aorta and the superior mesenteric vessels, and it could be observed fully by rotating the scope clockwise or counterclockwise. The pancreatic uncinate process could also be observed by pushing the scope past the cardia and tracing the aorta to its second branch, the superior mesenteric artery. Once again, adjust the transducer so that the superior mesenteric artery appears in the longitudinal axis. The pancreatic uncinate process is observable from here. As the scope is rotated counterclockwise to show and trace the superior mesenteric vein, the pancreatic head will also come into view. Advance the side viewing scope into the duodenum by placing the pylorus in the setting sun position. Next, two maneuvers were performed in succession. The tip of the scope was deflected up and right. Then the endoscope was withdrawn to about 60 cm from the incisors to reduce the gastric loop. The scope thus entered the descending part of the duodenum, where the aorta came into view as the first anechoic structure with hyperechoic walls. The scope is slowly withdrawn to review the pancreatic uncinate process between the aorta and the transducer. The pancreatic head and part of the common bile duct could also be seen.